Shoot the front one. Shoot the front one.
Nice shot.
So I thought I'd let you in on a little secret on how to get your GSG-5 522 to run much better. I've found kind of a design flaw that stems from the magazines that is pretty easy fix. I've seen people take this on in a couple of different ways. I've kind of created my own way to do it, but basically just to demonstrate, here you go, standard GSG mag. What happens is these tabs tend to get hung up in the channel here. Okay, so actually I put that one on upside down. I gotta fix that. Anyway, these tend to get caught up in here, and mine don't because I already completed the project, but a lot of the stock mags, if you take them and just let go here, it won't shoot up to the top. It'll just stop. It'll get kind of hung up, which means that, you know, you've got a magazine that in no way, shape, or form is going to be able to feed consistently. So what I was having happen to me, specifically with the GSG 5, is I was actually having out of battery explosion. So the round was going out of the chamber before it had even really been fed. What was happening was this was getting stuck on the way up, maybe just a little bit, leaving the round hanging low in the magazine, not high enough to be picked up by the bolt coming in. And what happens is the bottom of the bolt has another sharp kind of edge on it that actually looks exactly like a firing pin, for example. And that bolt comes through and tags the back of this round, and the round basically goes off on its way out of the magazine. Not a fun sound, pretty picture, and you've got, you know, shrapnel, little pieces of brass. So actually, I mean, in stock form, I actually think the gun is almost unsafe to shoot in many cases. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's dependent on which magazines you get. Maybe these are an earlier version of them and they've revised them since, but I can tell you it's definitely not fun, and it was driving me crazy trying to figure out why the gun wouldn't run, you know, smoothly, and I was having these problems. So anyway, let's get right to business. You take your Allen wrench here and you pop this out as such, and what you do is you just pull that off. That comes off on that side. You got to watch out because there's a little nut there, and then you pull that one out as well. Okay, so what you do is you take the screw and nut, put that over to the side. By the way, you'll notice these have some blue Loctite on them. I recommend, if you have some, to throw some more back on. I'll get into that in just a moment. What I've done here is I've taken the tabs themselves. You can probably see they're a little bit rough on the edges here. Okay, and what I did is I took sandpaper and I smoothed out this part down here, round out the edges down here, and then I also did the same thing on the side here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I sanded the sides here. I rounded out these edges here, and then especially these edges down here. Okay, I did that on both sides of every tab. So let's see here. I did 6 of them with 3 mags. I did 6. Pretty simple math there. Anyway, you know, this really helps. I'm telling you, I took 100 grit sandpaper, just kind of what I had laying around, and just took it right to the edges here. Hit this for a while, maybe about, I mean, nothing crazy, maybe 15, 20 seconds on each portion. So here, like this. Same thing on the other side. Get down here, and then also here. See that? And in turn, what you get when you put it back together is a magazine that no longer sticks. It's very smooth. I've seen this done a handful of ways. I've seen this done where people take the magazine apart and they actually sand the channels here on all sides and inside and out. I've also seen people just remove the tabs and leave it as is. The magazine still functions this way, but the problem is that to load it, it's a pain. You get about 5 rounds in and the pressure's just too much. So you would need to like keep one of these handy, put the tabs in just to load it, then take them back out for it to run properly. I don't see what the point is there. I even tried using a pen, stick the pen in and pull it. It was a total disaster, just a waste of time. So my suggestion here, the easiest fix here is to do, as I mentioned, which is just sand down these tabs, these oversized tabs. They don't fit well right out of the factory. So I suggest you give that a try. We're going to go out and do some range testing now, see how this mod works, make sure it's fully functional. Also, one other thing that's very important that many people do not know is that if you put this screw in, back in this nut here, and you put the magazine back together and you over tighten this, what that does is it squeezes these tabs against this channel, making it even tighter, which means that you're definitely going to get hang-ups all the way through instead of just smooth release here, okay? So make sure you don't over tighten that. There's a reason that they put blue Loctite on it out of the factory, and that's because it's designed to literally, lock up without being pressure, without being just tight. It can just lock up with the blue Loctite, and you don't have to over tighten and have the magazine malfunction. So there are a couple of things you need to do to make sure this magazine runs right. You want to keep it clean, keep oil out of it, no grease, none of that's going to work for you. This is really the best way to do it. Let's take it to the range, see how it goes.